Hello and welcome to the show. Well, today we're going to get educated. We're going to get educated on education. And with us to do that is Jessica Howard, the president of Chemeketa Community Colleges. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you. I'm just ready to learn so much about what you are so excited about. You've been president for how long now?
Approaching 7 months.
You are excited.
I am.
Where'd you come from?
Well, prior to this position, I was a campus president, one of the campus presidents at Portland Community College in Portland. And prior to that, I was a vice president at San Antonio College in San Antonio, Texas, which is really where I'm from.
Well, you've been kind of working your way up, and now you've got this whole system in 3 counties. Is that right?
It's true. Our county district service area is Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties, and then the very top portion of Lynn County up the canyon.
All right. Now, those from Texas maybe can spot your accent, but I can't. Where,
No,
where in Texas?
San Antonio. I wasn't born in Texas. I was born overseas, so that's why I don't have the accent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've had a fascinating life. We probably don't have time for all of that, but where'd you go to high school?
Clark High School in San Antonio.
All right. And what'd you do in high school? What was fun?
My dominant activity was music. I was in the band, and I was a French horn player, and I went to college on a French horn performance scholarship.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. And what brought you to, so the job brought you to, and you live in Salem.
Actually, I still live in the south part of Portland because I have a 15-year-old, and if we were to move before she finishes high school, we'd probably have something terrible happen to us.
Wow.
We wouldn't make it through the night.
And in your job, you're going to different campuses, and there's one in Salem, there's one here in McMinnville, and what else?
Well, we have 7 locations. So we have 2 comprehensive campuses, the one in Salem, as you mentioned, and then the one here in McMinnville, which is called the Yamhill Valley campus. We also have the Woodburn Center, obviously in Woodburn. We have the Brooks Center, obviously in Brooks. We've got the Polk Center, which is in Dallas. We have Eola, which is in the Eola Hills in West Salem. And then we have Chemeketa Center for Business and Industry in downtown Salem.
Very good. I think you brought some pictures of all
I
those
did.
locations. We'll see those. We'll see those in a while. Okay, Jessica, you applied for this job. It must have been very competitive. They picked you. Why do you think they did? What strength did you bring?
Well, I will say it is very tough to win presidencies, and I think what made this work was that this just seems like a wonderful match. I have been thinking about and observing Chemeketa for the whole time I've been in Oregon, which has been about 7 years, because I came to PCC in 2012 in the fall, and I started noticing the 17 community colleges in the state and what it means to be part of that whole non-system system, and I really started noticing Chemeketa almost immediately. I mean, it's located in the capital. It has an outside effect on the sector because it's so proximate to the capital. So we are always around to testify and visit with legislators and talk about what the community colleges need. And then it's the second largest community college in the state. So it's of a size where we can really do a lot of things. And it's got certain aspects of it that are really unique. For instance, we have the Chemeketa Press, which is our own college press, peer-reviewed, possibly the only one in the nation located at a community college, where the textbooks are priced between $20 and $40, most of them under $20 for our students' sake. So we've saved our students, millions of dollars in textbook costs. That's a very, very unusual thing to be able to talk about. We're one of, I think, 64 institutions, colleges, and universities nationwide that are able to award second chance Pell inside the prisons. And again, because this is a state capital, we have an inordinate number of correctional institutions within our district. And so we're able to provide, college education as well as high school completion within those prisons because of our second chance Pell status. So there's just some really, really interesting things that we do in addition to what most people have come to rely on community colleges for, which is career and technical education that's cutting edge and responsive to industry, and then students who intend to go to a university and want to take the first couple of years the lower division coursework at the community college and then articulate to the university. So we do all of those things, but Chemeketa just seemed like a place that really spoke to me. And then probably the icing on the cake was that Chemeketa is a Hispanic serving institution, relatively recent designation, but the first community college in the state to be so designated. And that reminds me of my time in San Antonio, feels like home. So it just seemed to be something that matched my interests and skill sets and just really impressed me. And I was just incredibly fortunate that they chose me. So it is wonderful.
Wow, I see you had this job in Portland Community College,
At the campus level.
the campus level, but you were looking around and you decided what you wanted and you went for it and you got it. So they could probably tell that you were ready to go.
I did want it very badly, yes.
Yeah. Now, you've come in with, you've only been here 7 months, and it sounds like you've got your grasp on this. You've got a handle on it. What are some programs that either you saw were just emerging or hadn't even started yet that you said, this is a good place to focus some energy? What did you do?
Well, really when you first come into a position like this, it's really about getting to know the institution, getting to know the culture, and finding out what it is they have been growing in response to workforce needs and partner interest and that kind of thing. So there were a few things on the front burner, and they're just coming to fruition in the next year, probably they will. One actually has already happened, and that's our truck driving program, which is, it's so interesting because we're talking about a commercial driver's license program. And if you do a real-time workforce kind of search of our data in our region, the last, I don't know how many, handful of years for sure, in the top 2 or 3 positions it comes up as needing workers, trucking is up at the top. And it's a good paying job. And so we decided we were going to get into that business, and we bought ourselves a beautiful 18-wheeler. I've never thought of trucks as beautiful, but this one certainly is. And we started offering courses in the truck, in terms of getting one's license. So it's a 1-month program, and we started last fall. And this program is literally on the road. So it's a truck, and we offered the truck driving program in Marion County in the fall. It's in Yamhill County now in the winter term. It'll be in Polk County in the spring term, and we'll just continue to rotate it around so that our whole region can benefit from that. So that was one program that was immediately hatched as a result of a lot of work by a lot of awesome people and partners. The 2 other things that are coming to fruition in the next year, one is a diesel technology program. And we're working right now, it looks like that the hope is, the expectation is that we'll be able to offer it sometime in 2021. It'll be located at, adjacent to, right at really our Brooks Center in Brooks. And that answers a tremendous industry need for diesel technology technicians. And then the third thing is, in February, which is this month, we're breaking ground on an agriculture complex, which has been a product of a lot of community work, because of course agriculture is a great big demand and feature of our life in the Mid-Willamette Valley. And so what does it mean for us to not only continue to offer appropriate training and education for our farmers and for those who want to get into this industry and possibly connect up with OSU and their agriculture programs, but it's really about providing a hub so that folks can actually come on campus and use this location, this complex, to promote the workforce around this area. So,
Well, you talked about new programs that are starting. We've got a couple of introductory slides.
We
Let's
do.
bring those up, Larry, and then we want to get to that role of all the
Yes.
programs you have.
Right.
What's our first slide, Larry?
well, now the first slide, I believe, one
Okay.
more, is, now this just kind of shows you who's going to Chemeketa Community College. So out of 10 people, one out of 10 is under 18, because we offer dual credit in the high schools. 6 out of 10 are 18 to 25 years old. 3 out of 10 are 26 and above. At least 4 identify as white, at least 3 identify as Hispanic, at least 1 is in an other racial or ethnic category, 3 out of the 10 are doing career and technical education, and if they filled out the FAFSA, which is the financial aid mechanism, 6 would come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, 4 are first generation in college, and only 3 of 10 would be attending full-time. So most of our population is attending part-time. And then lastly, I would say 8 out of 10 come from Marion and Polk counties. So only 2 from Yamhill County.
All right, let's come back to us, Larry.
Yep.
Now, before we start this roll of all the different programs, what we're going to do right now is try to alert people watching, whether they have kids that, or maybe they are young people that happen to see this on Facebook, to give them just a snapshot of what might be available to them. And before we do that, there's this brochure here that inside is not all of the programs, but what I've seen here is how much you make if you get a medical assistant, if you become a nurse, if you were talked about the truck driver training, the diesel, how much you make, and what the employment forecast is. What's the growth over the next 10 years? So there's incredible information to be had. If you went to Chemeketa and pick this up, you'd probably find it on the website as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go from, it started with accounting, and we're going to go to zoology. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's see if you know which programs are offered at Chemeketa. So here we go.
Okay.
Accounting.
There we go. Oh, we're going to have it. Oh, there it is.
Okay. Accounting.
Just,
Anesthesia technology. Apprenticeship. Automotive. Building inspection. Business management. Business technology. Career information systems. Corrections. Dental assisting. Diesel technology. Drafting technology. Early childhood education. Education. Electronics. Emergency medical technology, or EMT. Fire protection. Health information management. Horticulture. Hospitality and tourism management. Human services. Law enforcement. Machining technology. Medical assisting. Nursing. Pharmacy technology. Robotics. Speech language pathology. Visual communications. Viticulture. Welding. Winemaking. And there's the truck driving, and there's our beautiful truck. And then we have programs that you would associate with the university and that are transfer-oriented. ESOL GED to get you into the college environment. Art. Anatomy and physiology. Biology. Chemistry. Computer science. English. Health and physical education. History. Journalism. Mathematics. Music. Philosophy. Physics. Psychology. Sociology. And then here are our
Okay.
locations.
wow. So your question was the beginning. You kind of gave it away. Larry, you can come back to us on that. How many of these programs are at Chemeketa? I think I'm going to guess the answer is all of them.
All of them.
So how do you keep all that going? That is an incredible amount of programs.
It is. And that speaks to the breadth of the community college mission. It's always agonizing to try to have an elevator conversation with somebody and boil down what it is we do into a 30-second soundbite. It's impossible because we really are doing so much career and technical education, which is so many different programs, and you can see how they are directly connected to industry and workforce need. And then you have the lower division transfer, which is actually the majority of our operation in terms of students coming to us and intending to transfer to a university.
And let's talk about the need for this right now. We were talking about the way some people come to you with a bachelor's.
Some do, yes.
Tell me that story.
Well, it is not uncommon to have a student come to us for a career and technical certificate or applied associate's degree, who already has a bachelor's degree. You can see this in certain programs even, particularly, for instance, our viticulture and our winemaking, right, area. The average age there is higher. So you have folks who are starting a second career, considering what it means to get involved in that burgeoning, very sort of healthy industry in our region. But that is not uncommon, and I've seen that at other places that I've worked in the community college sphere. Is that getting a bachelor's degree doesn't necessarily get you into a specific career path, particularly not if it's at all applied. And so sometimes you have folks who really feel like they need to get that bachelor's degree, and then they come to us.
When you look at this amazing collection of programs that you offer, how does all this fit in? How do you engage with high schools? How do you engage with four-year colleges? Where do you see yourself in this mix?
Yeah, and I think that is a key to what it means to stay viable into our future, which is going to be changing rapidly with the technological changes, automation, all of that. The world of work is changing, and so the way to navigate that first and foremost is, of course, to stay cutting edge with our career and technical programs, which are often equipment-based, that have equipment components to them. But on the other side, it's making sure that we are excellent partners within the education ecosystem. So K-12 compulsory education is not going away. I don't see that automation and changing technology is going to be taking that away in any way, shape, or form. Robots are not going to be teaching in K-12 education because we need humans and we need good teachers, right? It wouldn't mean that there wouldn't be aspects of it that would be affected by those changes. But really, for us to maintain our viability with high schools and that entire pipeline, it means working really, really closely, ever more closely with our K-12 partners. There is a hemorrhage point between the end of high school and the beginning of college, and a lot of people fall out in that one summer or in that particular time period, which is why, the Oregon Promise, which it's designed, the Oregon Promise Scholarship is designed to have folks who are coming from K-12 get that scholarship and go right into the community college, because it's understood that is a key point in the journey. If you wait too long, if you wait more than 6 months from your high school graduation, you're not eligible for the Oregon Promise anymore. So it is a window that is open, designed explicitly to help students traverse that gap and come into.
Let's say that again for people listening. That sounds really important. So the Oregon Promise is the tuition for community college will be paid for if
you apply for and get those funds within a 6-month period from when you graduate from high school or get your GED. So there is a window, and what it means also is if you graduate from high school in the middle of June, if you come in the middle of December thinking it's 6 months, I'm ready to enroll in the following January, that's too late. So you really have to access it in those summer months to utilize those funds to get into the community college. It's a very, very critical point. You also need to have a 2.5 GPA at this point in the legislation.
So high school students should start talking to their counselors about that. It's not too soon.
It is not.
Yeah.
You have to complete the FAFSA or the ORSA in order to be eligible to apply for those funds. And that's a whole process. That's a significant process. And so you can do that as early as the fall before. But even for folks who are getting their GED, it's really important to take that test and understand that the 6-month clock is ticking from that point forward. So that's something that we cannot communicate enough, because people are missing this opportunity to get their community college paid for up to a certain point for fall, winter, and spring terms.
Now, you used a very graphic word a while back. You said hemorrhage.
Yeah.
Between high school
Mm-hmm.
and secondary school. Hemorrhage, that's like blood. That's
Yes,
like
I know.
our life
it's-
blood is these students that become out of the system, I guess is a way, and somewhat lost. And you're addressing that. How are you addressing that? How are you trying to get some pressure on that leak point?
Yeah, well, and it's, it's because students are going from one system to another, right? And whenever you do that, it's like there's a handoff, and there's an opportunity to fall out of that handoff. There are a lot of summer bridge programs that community colleges employ explicitly to get students who are coming out of, graduating from high school, to get them connected to the college or university, and keep them engaged through the summer so that they are on track and ready to go for fall.
The summer after graduation.
And we have one of those. We have a summer bridge program. And it's designed to get students who have some intention to pursue college onto our campus, which is often a very intimidating thing to do, to actually walk onto a campus and to say, do I belong here? Is this a place for me? And they're in a cohort of folks just like them, and then they're exposed to different aspects of what it means to be a college student. And the goal is to get them to start doing some of these administrative aspects, which can be somewhat intimidating also, but get them accustomed to the environment. And it's a very, very kind of warm handoff from there into the institution, into the college.
Let's review what you just talked about. It's a summer bridge program. How will that show up for high school students in their high school? How will they bump into this bridge program?
Well, so much of what it means to connect with the high schools is through the high school counselors, and they are always trying to do what's best for students, and they also have huge caseloads. So there is a lot that, is supposed to be happening with students who are coming out of high school. A lot of, there's a lot of momentum for students to apply for and go to a four-year institution. Education does pay, and having a bachelor's degree, I would always promote that as an excellent option. So some students, typically the ones who have parents who have some college experience, the ones who have been planning for this, who've filled out the FAFSA or the ORSA, and are lining up scholarships and trying to figure out how all this is going to work. That has its own momentum.
Yeah.
A lot of students do not have parents who have had that kind of experience. They are the ones that have the most difficulty typically navigating going from one system to another, understanding all of these hurdles, the administrative pieces, filling out this form, filling out that form. They're the most at risk of not taking advantage of something that could be life-changing, like the Oregon Promise, because you kind of have to know what to do when you do it. There's a lot of messaging by the high schools to try to connect up students with understanding these deadlines and processes and pieces. If a student actually engages with us in any way at a college night or anything like that at a high school, we can connect with them and pick up that student and hopefully engage them in the summer bridge or whatnot to help get them into the college.
Summer Bridge. I hope somebody comes up to you and says, I saw you on TV and I heard about the Summer Bridge program, and I am here, or my son or daughter is at school because of the Summer Bridge, because it sounds incredible.
It's a great program.
What a need.
It's true.
So when I ask you, what are you doing about the hemorrhaging?
It's the Summer
That's
Bridge
it.
program. That's one of the pieces, yeah.
That's one of the pieces.
That, and we're also trying to do things like, we're making a specific effort to try to get news about the Oregon Promise, in addition to our many programs, to the parents of the students in the high schools, particularly students who might be less connected to that kind of information. We're offering that information in Spanish for Spanish-speaking families, because again, that's a population that if those folks are already navigating a second language, right? English is a second language. That exacerbates the opportunity to miss some of this. And I have a 15-year-old daughter myself, who you would think would know exactly how to navigate anything related to education, because she's got a parent like me, and she has many, many challenges in asking for help, going out on a limb to ask additional questions, to go back around to make sure she hasn't dropped something or left something, or, it takes a lot to be able to kind of be the prow of the ship with your own progress when it's all so foreign and scary. And so I just think it means that the systems have to talk to each other as well as possible so that it's inevitable that the student knows how to get there and not the other way around.
Is there a relationship between you and the four-year schools in the area? What's that like?
Oh, definitely. Yes, we view ourselves as, as a bridge to the four-year institutions. Absolutely. Most of our students at our locations are transfer bound. And so this means that we have articulation arrangements. Our three biggest.
That's a big word, articulation arrangements.
Yeah.
Break that down for me.
So that means that if you take a course at Chemeketa, what we want is that course will count towards the major or towards the
So your
graduation
credits
requirements.
transfer without losing a bunch.
Without losing, right. That requires the student to have a sense of where they're going, and it means that we need to do a really good job of saying, well, I see what you're interested in pursuing. Did you know that that's going to be a little different at this university versus this one? And so it's important not just to know what you are interested in, but where you'd like to go. And sometimes students can be very savvy and still not have all those pieces exactly right until they're ready to transfer.
Oftentimes,
And so-
it's a kind of you show up at the next school and you just cross your fingers
Right.
and hope they
Right.
happen to accept that by reading. Sometimes they just read the course catalog and they go, maybe, maybe not. It's very,
Well, and we're
it's a
working
roll the
on that.
dice, and you want to take that chance away.
And as a state, we're working on that too.
Good.
Because when you don't have a single system of education, and we don't in Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
that means we have 7 public universities and 17 community colleges trying to accept each other's courses and be aligned. The good news is, all 17 of Oregon's community colleges have agreed to accept each other's courses towards what's called the associate degree of Oregon transfer. So the AAOT, which is kind of like what I would call kind of your general 2-year lower division degree towards transferring towards a university. We will accept each other's courses in achieving that degree.
By designing that degree the way you have, in coordination with the four-year schools, you've made it so that, yes, you get 2 years of credit here at this at this four-year school.
And that
Nothing is lost.
And that is the case. The difficulty is you can come in and have that degree count, but to actually start as a junior in the major, that's where the difficulties come into play because, for instance, there are some degrees where you have to take extremely specific things in sequence.
Yes.
A lot of the sciences are like this.
sure.
Music is like this. And if someone is pursuing a general associate's degree, you're not going to have all those things.
But if you are know what you want to go get a degree in physics,
Then you do.
you're gonna you
Right.
offer physics
Yes.
101, 102, 103, whatever, ABC.
Right.
Okay.
And that is that's a wonderful thing to be able to do and talk about. There are still differences between one university and another.
Yeah.
So our top 3 transfer institutions are OSU, Oregon State University, then Western Oregon, and then Portland State University. So those are our 3 biggest transfer partners. They have significant differences in terms of some of what it means to transfer to get into the junior year.
Okay, it's complicated. You're
Yep.
on it. You're
We're on
helping
it.
kids. You will
We're
help
all
the
working
students
together. Yes.
navigate that.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, somebody's thinking, oh my gosh, we have 6 seconds left. What happened? Okay, I can't ask the next question. Jessica,
It's such a pleasure.
wow, where'd the time go?
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.